Good evening all from GHGKQ. And welcome to the BATC Thursday evening QO100 Net. The order will be Mike G0MJW, followed by David M0YDH, Noel GHGTZ, Gareth G4XAT, Martin G4FKK, Russ G4SAQ, Jim G7NTG. I don't know whether Brian GW4KAZ. Oh yes, I'll put you on the end of the list there, Brian. Just seen that up there. So that'll be after Jim. I'll type up the rest of the list in a moment. Fairly busy week here, a few announcements. Tonight, of course, is beginner's night, so if anybody else would like to have a go, please pipe up on the chat. We'd really like to see some extra stations. Deadline for CQTV articles is 12th of December. So if you've been doing something interesting in ATV, please send us an article to editor@batc.tv or any of the committee. Would really like to see something from new contributors, please. Microwave Roundtable this Sunday up at Eaton Manor near Shrewsbury in Shropshire. There will be a BATC stand and also a talk by me, talk about EMF and EME as well. So EMF and EME in one go. Next week, Monday night, the RSGB at 8 series, which is streamed on the BATC streamer, will be Noel talking about amateur TV, so that'll be worth a watch on Monday night. And next Thursday, Martin G4FKK will be controlling the net, as I'll be giving a talk to a radio club that night. So next week will be Martin looking after you all. Without further ado, then round to Mike G0MJW and the net G8GKQ.
Waiting for pictures to appear but don't see them. There we go. That's better. It's going to be a fairly short over from me, I'm afraid. It's our local club Christmas meeting, of course, being December, which I want to join. They can have a quiz and lots of discussions and festivities. All from home, of course, via Zoom. But looking forward to that, so I won't be around too long, but nice to see everyone on the net, and I'll be watching as well, but I probably won't come back for a second over unless it all goes horribly wrong. Just a couple of things to talk about. I've mentioned the Microwave Roundtable, which is this weekend, and as you can see on the bench, some work is being done on building various things, and the nice thing that is being produced is well, one of the things I've produced, and I've worked with. It's Dave's design, I should add. It's on the bench there. It's the noise figure head that was in CQTV. I think is on the wiki. Anyway, here it is operating, and you can probably see that. Unfortunately, I don't think my line has got enough gain. It must be down on gain or something, because at 2.4 gigahertz. Oh, the other thing is something, I can't imagine what it is upsetting it at the moment, and it's giving strange results. But normally it does give more sensible results. And for those who are wondering what I'm talking about, actually it's because it's working on 2.4 gigahertz, and I'm currently transmitting on 2.4 gigahertz, so not the best thing for a demo, but there you go. Just trying to get into view, into shot. So there is the board, which Dave designed, and the little flashing LED is it turning on and off this noise source, which is currently simply plugged into a Lime SDR, which is operating in space at the moment, hanging on its cable, and it seems to be working really well, Dave, so I'm really pleased with that, with the appropriate modifications done. So there we are. Okay, let's, without further ado then, I think it's got to go to, who's it got to go to? It's got to go to David, M0YDH. So over to you, M0YDH, G0MJW.
That'll do. That'll do. Right, can you hear me audio? Right, can you hear me audio? Good job. Right, press the mute. Good evening. Thank you very much, Mike, G0MJW. That noise figure setup looks rather excellent, and I look forward to seeing everybody at Eaton Manor on Sunday. I think it's going to snow on Monday. If at all, hopefully we won't have any problem. It's a proper rule on the roads don't get treated, so if you know a friend with a Land Rover, hitch a ride with them. So it should be fine on Sunday. What have I been doing here? First of all, I'm using some different equipment, so I'm going to go to my version of if I can borrow Colin's shaky cam. I've got my version. Hopefully you can hear me. Excellent. Let's see if we can. Going down a bit. There we go. I've got a basic Pluto and port down combination. Whoops, too far. And I'm using that transmitter. And I've got, when it comes up on there, I've got my main port down is on receiver duty, because I've got two receivers on the go today, which is a development. In fact, the second line here has come on stream. I did a bit of work at the weekend and added a change 25 megahertz tiny frequency line to oh god, that's really wobbly for you, going flying here. I changed it to a bit of RG58, and then the horrible RG8 line has become the second receiver, and there you go. I've got a quad LNB out there, so I might as well fill it up with lines. I'll get around to doing the fourth line in a bit, so it should be for narrowband. But at least I've got two receivers now, which is excellent. And in other news, my eldest son Tom, M6GGZ, took the online exam really well. So he's trying to get his call sign, but the Ofcom licensing website is down. Tim's got Jim's at St Blazes shed plate. No, Jim, that's not right. No, you'll have to get your book out. You'll have to get your Ian Allen ABC out. So it is appropriate for here. Okay, who's on next? Oh, Noel is on next. Stand by your beds. I'm going to let him go around to Noel. Thank you very much. I'm going to dart in the house and I won't be on later. And you'll have to work out where 84B is, Jim. Well, it's here actually, but you'll have to look it up and work out what that's called. Okay, brilliant. I'm going to wave, and then I'm going to say GHGZ. This is from M0YDH, and switch it off. Right. Thank you very much. See you on Sunday.
Evening all. Trust we're all well. Haven't been on for a few weeks, but thought I'd pop my head above the parapet tonight and say evening. What's been going on here? I suppose actually I have to admit not much television, but been playing other radio things, and I'm going to do a risky. Yeah, 84 beers, Oxley. There you go. So super duper microwave frequencies, 122 gigs. Whilst the rest of you were still in bed on Sunday morning, that freezing cold day. Couple of us were out and about doing 122 gigs with very chilly weather around. Ah, yes, Bernie, yes. And we managed 26.5 kilometres on 122 gigs. So quick a video of it coming up. It's is that a video? Oh yes, right. Quick video coming up, and then a couple more stills, and then a demo. Right, a bit of howl round there, but that was 122 gigs over 26.5k, which is it's actually a record, UK record for the Australian units which we're using. They're they're only running about half a milliwatt if you're lucky. The UK total record for the band is 35k, so we're not far off. But one of the problems we've got is that we don't really do CW, and we were really right at threshold. So just a couple more pictures just for Bernie. So we had trouble aligning because the other end of the contact wasn't actually on the horizon, so he's buried in the mud. And yeah, it's a good question, you'll hear in a minute. And so we had to align using optical, so that's the flat light, big LED flat light transmitter box besides the dish there. Anyway, as I was saying, the problem we've got is that neither of us do CW and don't start. We really at the edge of FM, and yet we've got quite a lot of signal. We had about 15 dB SNR, which is about threshold for FM, but obviously lots left. The trouble is these transverters, they're not really transverters actually, they don't do sideband, and so it's a question of either CW or something else. And Barry G8AGN has discovered that a very old mode called Hellscriber is actually an on-off mode with very good decoding sensitivity, and so he's done an Arduino pick, and I've been playing around with it, and I think it's got great potential. It certainly does decode pretty low down in the noise. To answer your question, Bernie, that's one of the things we've got to attend to is we're still using the original TCXOs as supplied on the board, and you'll hear it tonight when I do the demo. It drifts, but I've actually got this, which is a very, very, very nice oven 10 megahertz source, so that will be going in there. Right, the demo is going to be a demo of Hellscriber. So I've got two of these units, two VK units, one transmitting and one receiving. What you'll see is a screenshot of the PC with SDR sharp in one side and the Hellscriber decoder on the other. Now the problem is, one of the problems is that the it does drift around too much, and it's fairly critical on frequency, so it will drift in and out of decodes. So this is the other PC, this is the other shot, and if I turn it up, so yeah, that's a potential. So we're hoping that will give us a bit more gain, or without having to resort to the nasty mode of CW. That's a contentious remark if ever heard one. But I'd rather technically play around with this and try and learn CW, is the truth of the matter. So the system, just out of interest, is that's the that was being used as a transmitter in the tests. So actually in a die-cast box with a 25 dB horn, and then the receiver is here under that anti-static bag to try and reduce signal strength, and the Hellscriber is generated by this old PS2 keyboard, which I've modified to put an Arduino in, and it works pretty well. So there we are. Right, okay, right, I think that's probably enough rubbish from me, so I'll pass it round to whoever. Gareth XAT, he'll probably continue the theme. He's probably going to talk about this dish and what he's been doing for me. What a wonderful chap he is. There we go. Right, round to you, Gareth. Congratulations on making the quarterfinals, Mike. AGTZ and the BATC Net. How much delay have I got? Let's have a look.
Right, okay. Evening all, thank you Noel. G4XAT and the BATC Net, picking it up from G8GTZ. I've made some changes to the data stream here, so I'm using the F1EJP software and H.265 at improved resolution, and I think I might be about 100 or 200 milliseconds out on the lip sync, but it's not too bad. Okay, right, that's fascinating, that, Noel. Although I guess the reason for needing CW, apart from the fact you can hear it, it's not like the band's crowded, is it? I guess if you're trying to do contest numbers, but it's not hard to spot 599 either. However, I like the technical challenge of modern microcontrollers working with an older mode, and it certainly seems to work well. So more power to your elbow. Right, let me progress to some bits and pieces. Okay, that is a surplus transmit board that I picked up at a junk sale. It had SMAs on the box, so I thought that'll be good. Anyway, I took the gold trimmers off it the other day. They're half a PF to 3 PF, and I think I've got 7 of them. So they'll be rather handy. And as you can see, it's got combiners and splitters on it, which leads me a bit to my next question. So if I move on to the next picture. Right, okay, that is an eBay splitter combiner. Now it's sold as 100 meg to 2.7 gigahertz. I don't see how it can do that range. It's only got a split low power. I want to split my Pluto on 437 to drive 2 Dolphins. That's what I want to do with that. And then in other news, this is a 3-way combiner for 3.4 gigahertz. I think Noel's got one of these as well as several other people have. It's designed for the Ionica 15 watt PAs. Now by a chance Google, I happened across a second Toshiba 50 watt 3.4 PA the other day. So I've now got 2 of them, and I was wondering whether or not I can use just the top 2 combiners via their circulators and just ignore the bottom one, or have I got to cut the bottom one off, or what? I think they are called rat race combiners, those little things, the circles, but I don't really know. So anyone can offer any advice on that, would be gratefully received. Okay, on to some bits for Noel. The dish he held up has got a spider arrangement at the moment, which goes from the edges into the middle, but it was far too wobbly, so I've dreamt this up instead. The collar without the legs goes against the dish, and then the collar with the legs goes on top of that. Now that will trap some threaded rod inside those hollow columns. The fatter disc with the fat legs slides over those thin legs, and there's a captive nut at the top, so you can screw the whole assembly together. And since it's 3mm rod, it's going to be very finely adjustable, and then you mount your sub-parabola, or whatever it's called, Cassegrain feed, on that plate, and then you can tweak it up, down, in and out till you get some goodness. Okay, right, we're going to go roving camera now, especially if I go back to me. Let's turn the camera around a little bit. Right, what we have here is one of the, I'll move these bits off, you get the idea, I assume, from that, so that's good. What we have here is the braked turntable assembly. There's a brake you can do up there to friction lock it, and what we have here is the tilt mechanism. So as you operate that lever, you can see the table tilts. It's about 6 degrees total tilt, and when you get it to the angle you want, you do up the wing nut and it stays there, and it's got a nice little levelling thing on top. So that's prototype 1, I suppose you could say. And the amp has just gone on to the second fan speed, so that's time to shut up. Get a third amplifier, yeah. Well, the first one was 200 quid, the second one was 60 quid, and they're like rocking horse droppings, Jim. I guess they've got to be the same sort of power output, otherwise it will go into the dump resistors. Right, comments welcome on that, either on the chat or by email or whatever. And time for me to shut up, so round to you, Martin. G4FKK to pick it up from G4XAT 54321. Over.
Oh, excellent. G4XAT, G4FKK. So a bit of latency built in here. Anyway, yes, evening all. Yeah, I love your mechanical inventions, Gareth. 3D printer, but I wouldn't really know what to do with it. I'd need you to inspire gadgets and things. Anyway, say evening all, and I think Mike's gone to his quiz, in which he's made the quarterfinals. That's very good. Well, if you're looking, Mike, you might be interested in this that arrived yesterday. I still need bits to go with it, but I'm slowly getting there. It's very heavy, isn't it? I didn't realise. It looks quite small when you show it on your pictures. Anyway, I'll drone on about that another time. And yeah, looking forward to the RSGB at 8 Noel on Monday. So that'll be good. And the noise figure measuring app looks brilliant. Or program. So it looks very good, Dave, and looks like Mike's got that working. David YDH, if you're still watching, congratulations to your son, who's I assume he's passed the next level up. Is it the intermediate these days? I don't know, but well done to him for that, and well done also for getting in the house to get out of the freezing weather. Perishing, isn't it, today? Yeah, Noel, the Hellschreiber looks excellent. What a good idea that was. The other alternative, I was going to volunteer to come and decode CW for you, but it looks a bit cold. What else was there? Yeah, those little gold trimmers look good, Gareth. Right, I haven't got a great deal to show you this evening, so I'll hang on and show it a bit later. And oh yeah, Dave says he's very kindly said I'll be controlling the net next week. We'll see about whether that's the right word to put in front of that. So with that, round to you, Russ, G4SAQ, and the BATC Net, G4FKK standing by.
Yeah, G4FKK in the group G4SAQ. I'm very sorry about the delay there. I had a slight problem. And I still have. I've managed to mute my audio now, which is much better. Okay. Mike meant to say enjoy the club meeting. And I echo Martin's comments there about the noise meter. Looks absolutely superb. Yes, again, congratulations to David's son on passing his exam for the license. Noel, the contact on 122 gigs looks really interesting, and yeah, well done on that. I've not seen Hellschreiber working before, so it was good of you to show that little bit of video, and good to see how it works. And Gareth, your tripod mount and printed accessories are superb. Really nice bit of work. I don't have much to, well, in fact, really, I don't have anything to talk about in the way of developments at G4SAQ this last week. But just this morning, I've taken delivery of a nice monitor that I've acquired from eBay, which will supplement my existing monitor, and hopefully I shall be able to get the two of them running then, which will make life much easier for me, because I found that I can't shrink Mini-Tuner satisfactorily on the screen, so I'm constantly trying to click between different windows, which is very frustrating. Last week I got some advice, I think from Mike and from Dave, GKQ, regarding the choppy audio that I was getting, and problems with starting up properly. And so I've removed the option for hardware decoding within Mini-Tune, and everything seems to be fine now, so thanks very much for the advice on that. What else have I got to tell you about? Yeah, I've decided I am going to take the plunge at long last and build a port down the latest version. But I've had a look around and I can't find a 2 GB Raspberry Pi for love nor money. In fact, a couple of the websites are saying delivery in 2023, which sounds quite absurd. So I may end up having to buy a 4 GB one just because the 2 GB is not available. And I was wondering when you come back on, Dave, perhaps you'd be kind enough to give me an indication of where I should buy a 7-inch screen from. I'm not sure which supplier stocks the appropriate one. And with that brings me to the end of all I've really got to say at this stage. So I'm going to pass it around to Jim, G7NTG, to take it. I'll put the test card up so that I know when it's time to make the transition. So this is G4SAQ putting it over.
Just make sure I'm on. I think I've got audio. Just check on the audio. Yep. Sorry about this, I'm not used to it. Russ, the best place to get a 7-inch screen I've found is RS Components. They've got ones that are guaranteed to work. And congratulations to David's son for passing his intermediate. That's really good. I've got a list here. First of all, I wanted to say thank you very much to Dave for all his help with the Ryde with the Canucker in it, with the reprogramming to get rid of all the presets, and I've successfully done that. I've managed to get rid of all the DVB-S2 and all those presets and just have to do DVB-T ones, and it's also set to come on as standard, automatically comes onto the 433 at 333 at 437 megahertz. So I got there in the end, and I've done it for 2 other people since. So that was very successful. Yeah, 2 weeks ago I had a broken SMA plug socket, and that's fixed now. Something else cropped up last Thursday, so I couldn't get on then. But there you go. But I've been quite busy in the meantime. I've built a winter hill for Nigel. So he's got to get the hang of using that, and 2 Nooker rides now, and an individual Nooker for somebody. Because I've been building them and setting them up and testing them, and to help out people who are a bit worried about the actual fitting components, that sort of thing, and close soldering, so I don't mind to lend a hand, so that works out all
Yeah. Now there's been something cropped up that other people might have noticed. That's the problem with keyboard bounce. With my Nooker Ryde, I set it up to run with a front panel keyboard, which I haven't now. I haven't done that. If I swing this round to point at it, you can see I used an old skybox for the Nooker Ryde, and I just do it with a remote control. With they're both Ryde receivers, and I use the same remote control for them both, so that works okay. Other things I've been doing are repairing of audio equipment, guitar amplifiers, fix that. Plus I've also been writing an article for one of the railway modelling magazines on and stage by stage construction photos with it. So it's all built from scratch, and coming along nicely. All the others are hand built as well, they're all built from scratch. So that's another thing I enjoy doing, so there you go. So with that, I think that's enough from me, and I'm not sure whether I hand it round to anybody now, so I don't know whether Dave's putting anybody else on the list, so I'll put it round to Dave, but if somebody else is on the list, then they jump in. So with that, it's G7MTG going off with the net, and I won't come back for a second go. I'll actually just watch through and then go, because I have to leave a little earlier tonight. So it's G7MTG going off and clear. Good evening everyone, 73s.
I'll take it. It was going to go around to Brian, GW4KAZ, next, and then to Jim, but we'll put those on after me. How much power have I got? That's about right. Good evening to Colin. Good to see you're watching. Let's go down the comments then. Congratulations to Tom, David. Good to hear. The 120 gig, 2 gigs Hellschreiber looks really interesting. That's quite a nice mode to visualise, certainly, Noel. Gareth, nice to see a better picture. On your combiner, I would say the bottom two are your best bet, and then cut the top one off, if you see what I mean, because they're both going into the same combiner. The bottom two into the bottom combiner, and then take the output from between the two combiners. That's what it looked like to me, but you need to be careful to balance the PAs, and I'm not really sure how well two different PAs will work with complex modulation, because they'll both have different distortions. I'm not sure about combining two different design PAs. The tilt tripod is a masterpiece, really nice. Russ, 4 gig Raspberry Pi of course will work, no problems at all. I think there have been a few suggestions on the chat as to where to get a 2 gig, but it looks like they're out of stock as well. 7-inch displays, I bought my last one, would you believe, from Amazon, and I noticed they're still at 60 quid on Amazon. If you type in Raspberry Pi 7-inch, about the third hit down is a white box with a Raspberry Pi display in. Amazon choice, £60.57 is what I'd recommend at the moment, but there are plenty of other places. But you should expect to pay about 60 or 65 quid. Keyboard bounce, Jim. The reason you get keyboard bounce, hang on, I'll just wind up the power one notch without a break in transmission. That's good. The reason you get keyboard bounce is because the display is taking too much of the time, I think. If you can turn the display down to only refresh at 25 Hertz, Tim thinks that might sort your keyboard bounce, because I get it as well on my 1080p display. I don't get it on my 720p display. So there are a few things you can do there, but it's a sort of known problem, and we're working towards a known solution. Okay, well, let's talk about what I've been doing. For the past couple of weeks, you've seen this monster with its lid off. Let's turn it the right way around. There we go. Can I make it focus? So that's the 3.4 gig transmitter. The big black knob is drive level in 1 dB steps, 12 1 dB steps. There's a meter there for power level. One of the BNCs is for a 790 for narrowband, and the two on the right are for a mini tuner and a Lime. So that's the front end of it. On top we have the amazing power bulge, which is a 20 watt stealth amplifier. And then round the back, a couple of power poles, one for input and one to run the 790, and control output for the PA, and in the middle the SMA in out. So that gives about 20 watts of 3.4 gigs. Received noise figures about 5.5 at the moment. It needs a preamp in it, and that'll be the next project, but I thought I'd put the lid on it. The other thing that you've already seen one from Mike is this noise head power supply. I'll be talking about that on Sunday, and there'll be more info in CQTV to come. And that's got the Raspberry Pi, the Portsdown standard connector on it, the 25-way D type to plug into my Portsdown. So that's those two projects have taken up most of the hardware time this week. Software-wise, doing a bit of work on the Portsdown 2020, putting all the noise figure meter and everything into that. So that'll hopefully get released as a development release tomorrow, and possibly widescreen streaming from a webcam, which somebody had asked for. My stealth amp is a 20 watt one. There are 50 watt versions as well, but that is only a 20 watt ones. Yeah, you can get 30 watts out of them, but it's not very clean by the time you get to 30. So mine's at 20. Okay, that's all from me. Let's put it round to Brian. We'll go down round to Brian, GW4KAZ, and then round to Jim, G0DQH, and then back to Noel. So GW4KAZ to take it from GHGKQ and the BATC Net.
Just checking the audio. Just checking the audio. Okay, good evening everyone. The audio is working great, so I had a few problems with that earlier. GW4KAZ. I notice in the background you've got a Kutant linear power supply, a variable. I have the original aluminium spun knobs for that particular model, as I used to work for Kutant in Ilfracombe many years ago, but I do have some in my spares box, I'm pretty certain. So if you want to email me, I can get them in the post if you'd like them. Okay. As you know, I operate the station remotely, and my little fob, which switches on the bias and whatever, I have to hold at arm's length up in the air. You don't see this, but to get the best signal down to the receiver in the garage. So last week I had an 800 meg antenna arrive, and I've put it in the box, and I don't have to do that anymore. I can just push the button next to the PC and it actually works. And the original antenna inside the box was a little coil, which was hopeless, of course, so I've sorted that out. And I've got some photos of what I've done if you'd like to have a look. This is the bias supply. Basically it's 12 volts in on the left and stabilized 12 coming out on the socket on the foreground. Ignore the fact that there's a red wire going to the antenna. It's my mistake. I put a proper screen cable in there now. And the relay that was in the receiver on the right hand side packed in quite quickly, so I've put a larger relay on the left hand side, and in the middle you can see one of those DC to DC converters. So I've got a nice stabilized 12 volt supply going out to the driver PA bias. Find another picture. That's a close up of the innards, and it all works. The two diodes at the top is just to drop the voltage down from 12 down a little bit, is because the receiver is actually 9 volts in, not 12. So and the last but not least is the finished thing, and that sits on the shelf on the top of the PA. If I can find a picture of the PA, of course, which when you want to find one, you can't. So we'll go up slowly and see what. See if I can find that. No, isn't that amazing? Oh, there we are. I'm doing my best to find it. There's quite a few photographs up on in the OBS, but find it in a minute. That's the problem with trying to do it too quickly, I think. But anyway, now I don't have to stretch out at arm's length to get enough signal down to the receiver. It picks it up very nicely now. And of course, it can't switch on accidentally because it needs the power switching on first. And I do that via another remote. I'm giving up on the PA. Can't find it. Anyway, this is the. It's not actually fitted in the garage. This was when I just finished the PA, and the driver in the driver PA in the foreground. The plastic box is the circuit off the chat web page that someone very kindly put on there, and uses a single chip and stabilizes the voltage, adjustable of course. And originally I had a diode. If you look at just on the top of the driver PA, there was a actual diode there, but I found that the temperature also affected the output, so I shorted that out and readjusted the quiescent current, which I think on the driver is 200 milliamps, and it doesn't move. It just works beautifully. So the whole thing runs really cool. The temperature in the garage on top of the PA at the moment is 6.4 degrees C. So I could run it all day long and it wouldn't move in 1 degree, I don't think. Anyway, back up to the top, and I'll see you all hopefully next week. Sorry about not finding that picture that I wanted, photo, but there you go. One of those things. We'll go back to the. I found that one all right. So back to the call sign, and see you all next week. G0DQH now going clear.
Goodo. Right, thank you, James, G4X18 and the net, picking it up. Noel took a dip out there. Before I progress further, this is what I've been busy with as well. It's the very nice Portsdown power meter, mounted in a very similar way to as Dave's description, only my board is unscreened, but it's on a metre and a half of cable, and it seems to work fine. And it's been on the spare Portsdown all afternoon, and well, it works. Very nice indeed. Okay, thanks for your comments on the splitter combiner, or other combiner. There we are. I'd really like to use the one on your left. I mean, I don't understand how those work. I mean, I thought it would just take the first port out. Clearly, it doesn't do that. But I guess if I make up a bit of track the same size as joins the two circles and just link it to the output track, that might work. Whatever. The 2 amps I'm talking about, Dave, are identical Toshiba ones, so maybe they'll be the same, maybe they won't. But the chance came up to buy a pair, and I thought, oh yeah, that'll do. Yeah, okay. They vary, those boards, there's all sorts, aren't there? No doubt about it. Finally from me, I'll just show you a closer picture of the tripod assembly undermount. That's the brake. That's the brake. There you can screw that number plate screw in a bit further to tighten up the disc brake. And the fixing nut is threaded to suit the tripod. And there's some springs in there that provide this springiness. Okay, that'll do from me. So round to you, Martin. G4FKK to pick it up from G4XAT. 7-3 all, and I'm watching, and we'll see you next time, I hope. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, over.
Yeah, very good, Gareth. G4XAT, G4FKK. And cheerio to everyone who's left for various reasons. I'm very keen to know how Mike does in his quiz. See if he gets through to the semis at least. And evening, Rob, M0DTS. Are you going to be transmitting tonight, Rob, or have you just come in or just going out? I wonder. I know Colin's about to set off for work, so it's a bad time of year for Colin, isn't it? and John JTT, as I understand it. Russ, the new monitor was good. I've been looking for a new monitor. I've got 2 monitors here, but I've also got 2 PCs, so it gets a bit difficult trying to juggle things. I've got various HDMI switches and KVMs and things, but it's easy to get confused when you're me. Anyway, I've put one of the bigger monitor on an articulated arm on the wall, and I've left space for another articulated arm and another monitor on the same wall, so I can have a bank of 3. Very glamorous, be like Star Trek. But I haven't been able to find a suitable monitor for a suitable amount of QRK. I think you got lots of tips about 2 GB size, Russ. So that'll be good. And I'm glad you got the mini tuner going. Yeah, I got told that tip a while ago and forgot all about it till you rediscovered it, which is to not use the hardware monitors, the hardware ding dong on it. Nigel, if you're watching 20EHH, sorry I've not been in touch this week, but I've had a stinking cold, and various other things have cropped up. But I will we'll perhaps catch up tomorrow if you're around. And Rob says nothing to say. Been playing with stuff that I can't really show. So not very interesting. Well, it sounds interesting to me, Rob. I love it when you say you've not been doing much, because then you usually come up with some amazing piece of software or a bit of hardware you've built. Anyway, yeah, Nigel, I'll try and get in touch. We'll try and get some sound out of your Winter Hill and get it going how you want it to be going. I don't know if you've had time to think about whether you want to use it in the any hub mode or the anywhere mode, effectively. So you don't tie up another screen with it, or whether you want to keep using it in local mode. Anyway, have a think about that. I had a 2-meter DATV contest contact today with Alan, a G8TQK. And he'd heard rumours that the BATC were wondering where all their ports downs had gone, all the boards they'd sold and the number of people that come up on them. I don't think Alan will be on the satellite anytime soon, because Mrs. TQK is not keen on a dish in the garden or anywhere. But it was nice to see him on 2 meters today. He's got a new C920 and was putting out some very nice pictures this afternoon. And Mike, if you are still watching, yeah, I thought it was going to be a 6000. So that's good. It wasn't. It did come with some interesting adapters, which seem to be DVI or DisplayPort or something to VGA. Anyway, that end of it fits in the Polycom unit, and I'm assuming this end gives a VGA to output. Right, Brian, I was going to suggest that because I had a quick look I was copying you okay, but within sort of 0.1 of a dB of readability. And there was occasional dropout, but I noticed you were on 3/4 FEC, so maybe the 2/3 would help. That would be good. I'm glad Jim NTG, glad you fixed your broken SMA, and nice to see that old high watt. Well, I don't know how old it is, the high watt amp there. I've been looking. I've got a Fender Twin buried under a pile of stuff here, which I'll just quickly show you on the steady cam. So it's a silver face Fender Twin, but I rebuilt it some years ago so that it is electronically the same as a black-faced one, sort of an earlier version, and it sounds very well, except it didn't sound very well earlier today, so I had to clean some contacts. What was the other thing? Dave GKQ, yeah, the 3.4 gig transverter's looking epic now, superb, and you've obviously been as busy as usual. Right, was mentioned. Oh, Brian, your kit looked excellent, by the way, nicely laid out and very neat. So that was good. And the remote switch of your remote switch, James, looks rather good too. And yeah, I've found one of the chips for the power meter, so I'll get that going as well during this next week. What the was that the high watt amp weighs a ton, Jim? Or I know the Fender Twin does. I don't take it out anymore because, well, we're not doing gigs anymore, but at the moment, but I can't lift it out of the boot of my car anymore. So I've got another amp, a PV Vintage, with pretty much the same valve lineup. So it's a bit lighter. Right, okay, that's enough from me. Hopefully see you all next week. Oh, both, Martin, yeah, they are both very heavy. So see you all next week, hopefully, and have a good week. And round now unto who's after me now? Oh, it's your Russ is still there. Good old Russ. Round to you. G4SAQ, BATC Net, G4FKK will be watching. Cheerio.
Okay, G4FKK and the group G4SAQ returning. Yes, Martin, first thing to tell you about is that monitor. I got it on eBay. It's a Dell 24-inch, and I got it for the princely sum of £40, which included delivery by UPS. They seem to be quite a good firm, actually, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them. I haven't actually been able to test the monitor yet because it requires a DisplayPort cable, and I've only got an HDMI cable here at the moment for my existing monitor. So this one has got the new one's got DisplayPort and VGA on it. And if you were interested, if you let me know on the chat, and I could send you a link to it. Yes, I very remiss of me. I forgot to say on my first over that James very kindly invited me round to his shack on Monday. I think it was Monday I went round, and he showed me his setup there and his dish in the garden, and must say it's very impressive. Very, very tidy setup, unlike G4SAQ. My workshop's an absolute tip, and I'd hesitate before inviting anyone to come and look at that. But the actual operating position's not too bad, because, as I've told you before, it's the bedroom for the youngest grandchild when she comes to stay. so I have to try and keep it reasonably up together to save too much work when she comes. Thanks everyone for the tips regarding the Raspberry Pi. Yes, I think they are all sold out, all 2 GB ones. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet, I think, and buy a 4 GB one, because I don't want to wait until 2023 for a new one to come in. Those tips on the screen are useful as well. I'll have a look at those ideas you've given me for Amazon and also for RF components, and I'll see what I can do there. Right, that's all I have to say. Very nice to be on the net with everyone. Good turnout tonight. And Dave, as always, thanks very much for running the net. So this is when I can sort myself out properly here. Okay, this is G4SAQ, and I'm sorry, I'm really not sure who I passed it around to. I can't see the note. G4SAQ. Ah, it's going around to Dave, G8GKQ. Okay. So G8GKQ to take it. This is G4SAQ.
G4SAQ, G8GKQ. Okay, well that's interesting stuff from everybody. Yep, Brian, if you come on next time with FEC 2/3, another couple of stations will be able to receive you. Martin, pleased to hear that Alan TQK has been transmitting on 2 meters. Yep, I don't care where they use their port sounds, whether it's 2 meters, 70 SEMS, Q100, they just need to be used. In fact, I'm pleased that people are using 2 meters. That's really good. Russ, nice monitor. Yes, I need a bit of an upgrade on monitors here, but the problem is finding space to put them around the place, because I've got 2 on the computer, one on one ride, one on another ride, and then there's all the port stands as well. I think that's about all I've got to cover. I'll take a look at your question, Phil, in a minute, and I'll answer on the chat if you're watching this. Don't forget, next Monday, 8 o'clock, RSGB at 8. Give Noel some support, please. And Martin will be running the net next week, and thanks to him for offering to do that. So with that, I'll shut the net tonight and leave the frequency clear. G8GKQ, closing the BATC net and going QRT.